Good evening, everyone. Hello. What an exciting audience. Engaged and here. So my name is Jocelyn Young, and I'm the CEO of the Surrey and White Rock Board of Trade. And it's a real pleasure to be here and to talk to all of you. I know you. I'm a dance mom. I see another dance mom. All right. Thanks for attending tonight in preparation for the September 27th vote. We are really privileged to be here in this space and actually have windows and have all of our candidates here. So thanks everybody for showing up and paying attention. I'd really like to thank our co-host for tonight, the White Rock Business Improvement Association. Oh, and they get music. I'd also like to sincerely thank our sponsors for helping to make this event possible and for enabling us to move the event to a larger space to accommodate this very engaged audience. Our supporting sponsor is Peer Law and Mediation. Thank you for your support. And thank you to our community sponsors, the Fraser Valley Real Estate Board and Thrifty's Foods, who provided the water for this evening. I'd like to begin by acknowledging that we are on the traditional unceded territory of the Semiahmoo First Nation and the broader territory of the Coast Salish peoples. As well, I acknowledge the Inuit and Métis Nations people who live and work on these territories. We have some special guests in the audience that I would like to acknowledge as well. MLA for Surrey White Rock, Trevor Halford. Trevor? Where is he? Stand up and take a wave. I saw you earlier. Okay, he's somewhere. Mayor of White Rock, Megan Knight. White Rock City Councillors, David Chesney, Elaine Chung, Bill Lawrence, and Christopher Trevelyan. The Surrey and White Rock Board of Trade is a non-partisan business organization. Our role is to work with all levels of government to advance positive change for our business community. We host events like this to better understand the vision of those seeking office. So when I say nonpartisan, what that means is that we do not support any one party or person, and we work well with others. That's collaboration, and I hope that we'll see some good collaboration at the front today, passing along the microphone. Together with the White Rock BIA, we believe voting is both a privilege and a responsibility. Casting your ballot is your opportunity to shape decisions that affect your daily life. Democracy thrives when citizens participate, so I encourage you all to vote on September 27th. For candidates seeking office, this means they're serving the public, listening, being accountable, and representing the diverse people and perspectives of this beautiful city. I'll now provide an overview of tonight's format and introduce the candidates. We have 19 of the 21 candidates running to fill 2 vacant council seats. They'll respond to questions submitted by our members and the public, which we've grouped into broad issue areas to reflect your feedback. Candidates will answer in alphabetical order, with the starting person rotating each round. Each has 1 minute to respond. Our timekeeper will signal with a yellow folder that 15 seconds is remaining, and a red folder when the time is up, at which point your microphone will be muted. We're serious. Please note, only the candidates and the moderator will be speaking, and we ask the audience to remain respectful throughout. And I can see from this audience you're going to be very well behaved, right? So with us tonight, would the candidates please raise your hand and give a wave? Susan Baines, Inder Buttar, Rob Blair, Peter Davey, Jazz Dollywall, Tracy Ellis, Sharon Grayson, Gary Gumley, Peggy Howard, Scott Christensen, Christine Makasoff, Anthony Manning, Jarrett Schwartz, Adam Smith, Greg Smith, Howard Stice, Chris Stropa, Matt Todd, and Philip Warner. It's not an easy job to run for and be in political office. We can ask the mayor about that. It takes a great deal of courage, and we thank you for being here tonight, and I wish you the best. We begin with opening remarks from each candidate. Each candidate will have 1 minute, starting with Susan Baines. And after the introductory comments, we will go into the first question. Susan, over to you.
Okay. Good evening. I'm Susan Baines, and I'm rolling, not running, for City Council because White Rock is my home, and I know how to get things done. As a local entrepreneur, accessibility advocate, and someone who's lived here for over 17 years, I've raised a family and have built strong relationships in the community, including the support of 4 former mayors. I led the advocacy for the accessibility mat on the pier by assessing a need, engaging the community, and staying persistent. That same determination guides me on every issue. If elected, I'll prioritize open communication that makes decisions, put long-term community well-being first. I'm Susan Baines, and I bring a perspective and representation that is needed on council. Please vote for me on September 27th.
Good afternoon. Hello. Good afternoon, and thank you for all joining us here today. I'm Rob Blair, a longtime White Rock resident, and I'm excited to be running for City Council. My goal as a councillor will be to help shape politics, services, zoning bylaws, contracts, and city-run programs while ensuring that our budgets will keep our city vibrant and thriving. I will provide oversight to city departments and ensure accountability while protecting our community from being overshadowed by our larger neighbor. I believe I can bring a sense of unity to the current City Council by listening to and advocating for the needs of our residents. I'm committed to making decisions that are in the best interest of our city and our residents. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. It's an honor to be here today. My name is Indra Buttar. I'm a registered nurse, an educator for Indigenous healthcare students, and a passionate community advocate. My sense of service is deeply rooted in the value of seva, of selfless service, and my family legacy of generations of veterans who have proudly served and stood up for justice and freedom. And because of that background, senior care and dignity in aging have a profound meaning to me. I'm proud to call the city home, and I'm running for council for a strong youth-led, values-driven voice to council that prioritizes senior care, public safety, and smart community-led growth. As city councillor, I'll lead with integrity and lead with compassion as well. Thank you.
Good evening and welcome here. My name is Peter Davey. I'm running for council as well. In this election, because I want to be part of the changing face of White Rock. There is change in the wind. I am a property strata president, and I see firsthand the issues that the community is dealing with daily: drug addiction, poverty, homelessness, and crime. I feel by running in this by-election that I can help create dialogue, initiate opportunities for healing the community. My job as a city councillor would be to represent the constituents, you, that have voted for me, and I will work hard to continue and honor that vote. I will hold town halls to help deal with public discord. Constituents can hear from me firsthand the issues that I'm dealing with. They will have opportunity to express their concerns. I will be transparent, and I don't have any answers, but I will consult and get the answers that I need. If I don't know what I'm talking about, I will consult those who are the knowledgeable experts.
Good evening. My name is Jazz Dollywell, and it's an honor to be here. To me, the role of a counselor is to listen, to lead with integrity, and be a bridge between City Hall and the people that I would serve. That means hearing residents' concerns, balancing growth with livability, and ensuring every voice has a seat at the table. I'm running because White Rock deserves a thoughtful, forward-looking leadership, a leadership rooted in morals, ethics, and values. Those are the standards by which every candidate should be judged. If elected, I will be accountable by standing by my decisions, transparent by making them clear and understandable, and accessible by always being available to listen and respond. Together, we can build a stronger, fairer, and more connected White Rock. Thank you.
Hello, and thank you for having me. My name is Tracy Ellis. I am running for council because I believe in a future where local businesses are the heartbeat of our community's success. Together, we can make White Rock a place where businesses thrive, families put down roots, and visitors are drawn back time and again. Our city deserves safe streets, strong community connections, and thoughtful planning that protects the unique character of White Rock. Growth is inevitable, but it must be guided by strategy that balances development with green space, preserving the charm of our seaside city. Having lived in White Rock and South Surrey for over 40 years, I've witnessed its transformation firsthand. I've been a part of the growth, and I know that we can do more. We must plan not only for our seniors, but also for the next generation so that they can afford to call White Rock home and carry its legacy forward. You threw me off with that little thing. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Sharon Grayson. To me, an effective city councillor helps create the plan that guides our administrators. They rely on the expertise and research of staff advisors. They engage in detailed discussions with the mayor and all members of the council, and most importantly, they include the proactive input of residents and property owners. I'm hearing that communication is the #1 frustration for our community. Emails should receive replies, calls and texts deserve responses. Simply put, treat others the way you want to be treated. This is a by-election. Our city needs 2 councillors who already have the knowledge and expertise and experience to work productively on current council critical issues like density, infrastructure, and social programming. We have no time for a learning curve. With my business background and 25 years of service on White Rock City committees and community groups, I'm prepared to step in and communicate and contribute immediately.
Yes. Good evening. I'm Gary Gumley. It's nice to be here and see so many of you in attendance. I've lived in the Semiahmoo Peninsula for 25 years and in White Rock for the past 8. Like you, I care deeply about how our city is run. Good governance isn't just council's job, it's everyone's job. Let's prove it right now. How about starting off by participating in democracy with me? Here's your chance, don't miss out. 3 years ago, the mayor disbanded the Finance, Audit and Budget Committee, the one council committee dedicated to financial transparency and public accountability. By a show of hands, how many of you think that committee should be reinstated? How about my fellow candidates? How many of you think it should be reinstated? Interesting. Together, we can make sure White Rock's future finances are open, honest, and working for all of us. My website and email are on my postcard. Connect me with any time.
Hi there. Firstly, I wanted to thank the Surrey and White Rock Board of Trade for making this opportunity for us tonight. My primary goal will be to support the esteemed mayor and council. As a team player, I would make decisions which are in the best interest of our community. I've been a resident of White Rock for 15 years. I managed large shopping centers like Guildford Town Centre for over 35 years. And this, together with my education in urban land, makes me well positioned to serve the citizens of White Rock. As a candidate, I've already answered in excess of 200 emails. I'm happy to listen and listen and listen some more and bring the suggestions to mayor and council. Thank you very much. Please vote for me. Peggy, oh, I'm so sorry, Peggy Howard.
stick to the OCP, lack of infrastructure such as proper sidewalks, years to get a simple permit approved, small businesses struggling and closing every day. My name is Scott Christensen. I was your White Rock councillor from 2018 to 2022. I have over 40 years business experience as a software engineering project manager, managing large projects across the planet, with my largest project being over $680 million. I'm proud of when on council, residents and local businesses, my key to success is focusing on the customer. When on council, residents and local businesses are our customers. I'm proud of our community and my track record on council. Why am I running? I'm a voice for residents and small businesses. Let's slow down development and snub the hub. Focus on improving city services, infrastructure, and healthy living. My name is Scott Christensen. Vote for me on September 27th. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Christine Makasoff. I've lived in White Rock since 1988. I am the president of the Peace Arch Curling Club, and through that, I believe I have gained the skills that will be important as a city councillor, such as policy reviews, strategic planning, and budgeting, as well as working with a team to represent the needs of the community. At the core of my campaign is a promise to be a councillor who listens, who is accessible, and who responds to your concerns. I would like to see White Rock build open, productive relationships with the City of Surrey, adhere to the official community plan, whatever that plan might be, and to establish a plan for economic development that reduces our reliance on residential property taxes. Thank you for your time.
Hey, good evening. My name is Anthony Manning, and I am really happy to see such a full house. This shows that people care very deeply about the community. Also, having 21 names on the ballot shows that there's a lot of interest in propelling this community forward. That love for White Rock is what convinced me to run successfully for council in 2018. And since then, I have been involved in governance on a number of boards in the area. And I've been able to build networks beyond council. These are networks that will be very important for the decisions that need to be made. If you do vote for me on September 27th, I won't need training wheels. I will hit the ground running. You will have experience working for you. I am committed to serving you and listening to you, and I ask for your vote on September 27th.
Good evening. My name is Jarrett Schwartz, and I'm running for White Rock City Council. I believe the job of a councillor should be listening to residents, making fiscally responsible decisions, and ensuring our tax dollars are spent wisely on services that matter most. I'm running because after living and working in White Rock for over 15 years, I've seen the challenges our community faces. From overdevelopment to aging infrastructure, I want to help protect our small town character while making life more affordable for our families and seniors. If elected, I will be accountable, transparent, and accessible by keeping open lines of communication, responding to residents promptly, and making sure every decision reflects the priorities of the people who live here. My name is Jarrett Schwartz, and I'd be honored for your vote on September 27th. Thank you.
Morning or good afternoon. It's Adam Smith. Yeah, I'm still waking up. But anyways, no, Adam Smith, Common Sense for White Rock City Hall. And my role in the past, I was president of the South Surrey White Rock Chamber of Commerce. And during COVID-19, I worked with the previous mayor, and we ran the town halls when people were scared and at home in a crisis. We were there, we activated, we got the information out, we worked for the people. So I'm running a common sense campaign. It's not about doing anything crazy. We got 1 year, and we're going to do this all again next year. You see me volunteering with Rotary. You see me volunteering down at the beach flipping burgers on Overdose Prevention Day, all these things. And so I'm involved in the community already, and I'm just going to do a bit more on City Council. making sense and running a fiscally responsible government and listening to the people and making sure that your voice is heard and back to the council. So thank you so much. Adam Smith for White Rock. I appreciate your time.
I'm Greg Smith, and the job of a counselor, in my view, is to seek. Yes, the job of a counselor, in my view, is to seek and build consensus among us all around the social, economic, and environmental issues of importance to us, and then to bring that consensus to bear at the council table. I'm running because I have the experience, skills, temperament, and integrity to do an excellent job. I also have a strong record of action on behalf of arts and culture in the city. I want more public benefit from all forms of development. The amenities fund is not enough. I want an ongoing citizens' hall to improve consultation and citizen engagement. The OCP has to be pursued with more vigor. Regulation isn't enough. We need meaningful changes and incentives and rewards to achieve the OCP. I want to lower base property taxes and use more special purpose levies to achieve observable results.
Good evening. My name is Howard Stice. As a resident of the Uptown community, I have a first-hand view of the opportunities and challenges confronting our city. I'm confident that my business experience and results-driven approach will provide a valuable perspective to the council. Recently, I held the position of president of our 88 units residential strata. This role required day-to-day communications with neighbors, effective budgeting, strategic problem solving, those skills that are directly applicable to the responsibilities of a city councillor. My platform, if elected, aims to support the council's 2023 to 2026 priorities report with emphasis on public safety and livability, economic revitalization, responsible development. I'm prepared to step up to serve my community with dedication and transparency. My commitment is to listen carefully to residents, business owners, and fellow council members to make informed, thoughtful decisions that will ensure White Rock is a vibrant, safe, prosperous community for all.
Thanks a lot. Chris Strope here. I'm running for City Council in White Rock. I'm currently a former vice president, of the Burnaby Firefighters Charitable and director of the Burnaby Firefighters Charitable Society. I've been on the job for 15 years there, and I understand the high need for public safety and how important it is. I come from a very political background. I've been politically active for over 3 decades. I've helped with many campaigns at the civic, provincial, and federal level, inside and outside. I was very instrumental in helping with the unseating of Derek Corrigan, 5-term incumbent in 2018 with the Burnaby Firefighters. I'm running in this election to bring attention to the issues such as insufficient emergency infrastructure that poses risks to the White Rock residents. We have seen it in other municipalities who are not adequately prepared for the population boom, face significant challenges and several factors. I'm going to run out of time. Thanks.
I'm Matt Todd. This is my hometown. I grew up here. My parents moved here in 1977. You might recognize my name from when I served on council 20 years ago, when I got a lot of really difficult decisions done. We had some difficult challenges, and I found creative, pragmatic ways to find solutions that some people said it couldn't be done, and we got it done, such as the smoking ban on restaurant patios that then became adopted by the province as law throughout BC. I think one of the most important things that we need to stay focused on as we deal with difficult decisions is the most important thing about a community is not the buildings or the gardens. It is our relationships amongst ourselves as neighbors. So how we listen to each other, how we treat each other, how we talk about those differences in opinions matters a lot. Are we building community?
Hi, I'm Philip Warner. I bought into our community over a decade ago, building our home and raising 2 young boys here. I'm invested in our city for the long haul, not just as a property and local business owner, but as part of a community we call home, where families can age in place. But this can be difficult at times. I've experienced firsthand frustrations dealing with our building and engineering departments, and experienced too many I know go through, especially those trying to open businesses here. We also face rising property taxes along with mounting service and utility fees that make it harder for families like mine to continue living here. I have experience in accounting, construction, have worked for private and public sectors. I'm a centrist who values small government, practical solutions, and community amenities that keep us active and bring us together. It's time for a fresh approach. I hope to earn one of your 2 votes. Thank you very much.
Thank you to all the candidates for your opening comments. We will now move on to the questions portion. Here we go. I'll give you this. We will now move on to the questions portion, as I said, and keep in mind that White Rock has a large seniors population, but also needs to attract younger residents and families who serve as our local workforce. For the first question, we will begin with Scott Christensen, work our way down the line, and then start back again with Susan and work this way. Okay, question number 1, and you will all answer this question. White Rock is under pressure to meet provincial housing targets while also preserving neighborhood character and livability. How would you balance the need for more housing with concerns about infrastructure, traffic, and community identity? Chris or Scott? Testing, testing.
Are you there yet? Yep. Okay. Thank you. So we're talking about growth and helping us have a good community feel. But I was on council and I was on the Metro board when I found that our targets, we've met our growth targets to 2040. I know the province has told us we have to grow more, but we're already the 5th most dense city in White Rock. And we want to foster a great community, but we can't do that when roads are closed and businesses are blocked. And if there's no customers coming into those shops, we don't have shops. They go out of business. So we need to have balance. We've already got lots of development. We need to focus on supporting businesses and infrastructure and make this a beautiful city even better. It doesn't help to have all the streets blocked and our businesses can't operate. Thank you very much. Scott Christensen.
I believe that White Rock is very close to meeting the housing requirements put in place by the province. It's all in the pipeline, but I don't think that we really need to be feeling the pressure to move forward uncomfortably. We need to get the infrastructure up to date to match the density the density that we have. Further building should incorporate public spaces, and perhaps the larger buildings should be focused along North Bluff so that we are not bringing in any more traffic into the streets of the city, the town center. Thank you. Oh, I'm sorry, Christine Makasoff. Thank you.
Anthony Manning. So how do we do this? How do we meet the mandate? I think the answer is to build small, not tall. The high-rise market has cooled, and residents have made it clear that they don't want increased density uptown. So we can innovate. Let's focus on secondary suites, laneways, in-laws, and other such small units that can be added to existing properties. It helps to also increase your property values. Develop pre-approved designs so you can pick that up with planning. Start your build. Get it done in less than a year, and you only have to go back to City Hall to get the occupancy permit. Sign on to the mobile business licensing program that other municipalities, including Surrey, have. That will reduce the amount of time and cost for trades to start working in White Rock. Let's gently spread the density out across the city instead of concentrating in uptown and high rises. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Jarrett Schwartz, and I believe growth is necessary, but it has to fit within White Rock's infrastructure capacity. I would support a gentle density, things like townhomes, low-rise buildings, rather than relying on high-rises that change the city's character. At the same time, I believe developers must also contribute fairly to the costs of the projects they create. That means paying their share into upgrading water, sewer, and roads through development cost charges, contributing to community amenities like affordable housing, parks, or recreation facilities, and investing in traffic, parking, and public spaces so that growth doesn't come at the expense of residents. This way, development supports the community rather than putting the burden on the taxpayers. My name is Jarrett Schwartz. Thank you.
Adam Smith, Common Sense for White Rock. So there's a big discrepancy between what we have and what we could have. You know, there's these multi-million-dollar, in fact, we're standing in the bottom one. All these apartments above us cost more than $1 million. And then just down the street here, they got these old 50-year-old buildings, right? So what's the phase between that? Do we expect these people to move into these towers as they get built, as they tear down these? What about the businesses? There's businesses that pay $3,000 a month rent, but the people in this kind of building pay $30,000 a month rent. What's in between that? We need to have a plan that looks at new ways of doing things, right? Have a bit of a common sense idea of how do we bridge the gap between either getting rid of the people that can't afford it and just bringing in millionaires, or do we have something that brings us across? There's got to be another way. We've got to have other small business parks. We've got to have business homes. We've got to have homes for people that can afford them. That's Adam Smith from White Rock. Thank you.
Greg Smith. Density is a red herring, I think. The real issue is the quality and affordability of housing. And what I see around town is a lot of vacant property. There's one right across the street from me that has been vacant for 20 years, and it badly needs to be developed. So I'm all in favor of applying more public benefit to the developments that do occur and making sure that we have more to say about the treatment of vacant property in the city.
I'm Howard Stice. My response to the housing and development issue is one around sustainability. So any planning that White Rock does, and I know that the planners are very much in support of sustainability, but you've got to plan to support walkable communities to alleviate the necessity of car access, which reduces traffic congestion on our small commercial areas. Accessibility to retail and services near public transit helps also to get residents around the city in a sustainable and affordable way. Speaking personally, I live in Uptown here. I only put 4,000 kilometers a year in my car now. I love it. We love it. And everything's available here, walk to. So I encourage future projects, future developments to think about proximity to walking distance to to services in transit. That's important. Thanks.
Chris Stropa, answer to the question for me. White Rock cannot become like Surrey or other communities where towers are only built with little infrastructure around them. While population growth is inevitable, this has to be balanced with White Rock's character, which is super important. As stated, the development of medium-density, low-rise apartment buildings with spaces and businesses below, underneath, will combat the issue of high-density buildings with little retail, commercial, and social infrastructure around them. This will help with the issues such as traffic, as people will be able to access resources they need close to their homes. I recognize, however, that a large part of White Rock's character is our unique single-family neighborhoods, and I will fight to ensure that the character of neighborhoods is affected as little as possible and retained.
I'm Matt Todd, and my friend here talked about something I'm very passionate about as well, and that is that all new development needs to consider the pedestrian. It needs to make it easy to get around and live our lives day to day, get as much done as we can without having to step into a car. The more we walk, the healthier we are, but the more we walk, the less we're driving. That's better, everybody wins. But in order to help people get out of their cars, we need to make sure that the housing is where the services are that they can walk to. We need to make sure that our sidewalks are safe and accessible. We need to make sure that the buildings are designed so that they're welcoming spaces. We see that in some of our new buildings in the town center here, where that care and attention maybe wasn't there as it is in this development here. It can be done, but we need to be careful and thoughtful. Matt Todd.
Hi, I'm Philip Warner. In 2024, the province mandated White Rock build 1,067 new units over 5 years. This first year, our city is meeting about 70% of that target. It escalates afterwards. It's unlikely we're going to meet that, especially with the economy on the edge of recession. We should push back, like Coquitlam and Burnaby, for realistic growth targets that align with our community's concerns. Growth will happen, though, so we should plan for it by focusing on gentle density, such as low rises, which were once very popular in White Rock. These provide a more welcoming feel with unique character and green space. Steady, reasonable growth gives time to the city to adapt, upgrade infrastructure, and protect our livability, rather than being overwhelmed by constant large population increases. Thank you.
Has anyone forgotten the question? I'll read it again before we do this side. White Rock is under pressure to meet provincial housing targets while also preserving neighborhood character and livability. How would you balance the need for more housing with concerns about infrastructure, traffic, and community identity? Susan, please begin.
Susan Baines. I deeply value the unique character of White Rock's neighborhood, and I believe all new development must follow the OCP, include necessary infrastructure, and genuinely reflect what the community wants and needs. I'll support meeting housing targets by directing growth to appropriate areas, promoting diverse housing options such as affordable units and family-friendly homes, and ensuring investments in essential infrastructure like doctors' offices, parking, daycares are there to support the residents. I've heard from the younger generation. They want to stay here, but they're getting pushed out. And I think we need to learn and look to other cities, other countries to see what's working and making them effective. With a thoughtful planning and people-first approach, we can meet these goals. Thank you.
Hi again, I'm Rob Blair. Regarding housing and development, we are in a changing community, changing times where we do have to grow. Sorry about that. I don't seem to have this question. I'm looking through all my stuff here. I'm very sorry. I can just go back to what I know. Having been a long-time White Rock resident, as far as housing and development go, I do know that we need to grow. We need to grow responsibly. We need to grow with integrity. We also need to have infrastructure in place for all new developments. We've got to look at everything from parks, city sewers, water, everything to make sure that we're not going to run out and not be taken over. I'm Rob Blair. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Inder Buttar. So to answer the question, growth should reflect who we are as a community and who we want to become in the future. So we need to have more housing, but balance is key. White Rock's charm, livability, and sense of heritage are not things we can afford to lose. That is why I support smart, strategic development that strengthens our neighborhoods. Growth must be community-led by those who live here. And I'm a firm believer in affordable senior housing so our residents can downsize in their own city over here. As a councillor, I would work closely with the MLAs and the MPs to meet housing targets and our council as well. And I would advocate to ensure that every new development aligns with our values and protects our identity. Thank you.
My name is Peter Davey, and with regards to the development, I agree with everything. Housing development is critical. We need to get it right. If we don't, future generations will be dealing with our mistakes and our poor choices. The city needs vibrant community development to build for the future. Development should be community needed and environmentally driven. We need to have affordable housing so young people and families will stay and thrive in White Rock. We need to meet provincial housing targets while preserving neighborhood character. It will be a high priority for me and challenging. I would initiate and ensure tax accountability and transparency. I would cut waste and ensure our infrastructure is current and well maintained. I would create a special task force to recommend parking and road enhancements throughout the city and the waterfront. I would encourage having law enforcement to quiet down noisy community hubs by initiating and doing random vehicle checks in critical areas such as Marine Drive and the city.
I'm Jazz Dollywell. So growth is inevitable. White Rock is going to grow, and it's going to keep on growing. Not in the sense of size, but the uniqueness and the feel of the city is going to keep on growing. White Rock has a unique demographic. It's a largely senior population, but it also needs to attract younger people, families just like mine, workers who support our businesses. To ensure vibrant, business-friendly environments, I would focus on supporting small local businesses, reducing red tape from City Hall, and encouraging responsible growth that enhances actual livability, like being able to walk to your infrastructures. We can provide services and amenities that benefit both seniors and younger residents while keeping White Rock's small town charm. It's a village.
Okay, I'm going to stand and do a dance. No. Tracy Ellis here. White Rock is under pressure to meet provincial housing targets, but we need smart solutions, not just more towers. I believe that we should rethink how we use our existing land and aging buildings. Many homeowners are facing massive levies to keep those buildings functional, and with strategic rezoning, developers could revitalize those properties, creating affordable homes and rental options while easing the financial strain. We also need to bring in outside planners possibly and engineers that can help redesign our roads and infrastructure, making our city safer, more walkable, and accessible for everyone. Let's explore innovative ideas like expanded pay parking perhaps, or even a tram down to the beach. I think that would be a great one. I'm not against the city's plan for a higher density, but I am for thoughtful planning that protects our seaside charm while building a livable, affordable future for seniors, families, and our next generations to come. Thank you. Tracy Ellis.
Hi, Sharon Grayson. I'm going to break this down into 3 parts. Firstly, what are the housing targets? 1,067 net new housing units are required by the new provincial legislation to be built in White Rock by June 30th, 2029. Secondly, the essential infrastructure funding is tied to our city reaching those numbers. If we don't comply with the legislation in some way, we don't receive the funding we need for our infrastructure moving forward. And lastly, we can maintain White Rock's unique identity. We can comply with the necessary growth It's important to note this legislation absolutely does not mandate high rises. It's up to us to figure out how to do this. We are re-examining our official community plan right now and for future generations. So we have a great opportunity and a challenge, and I think we can work together and come up with solutions because we know the problems. We need solutions, and I think you guys can help come up with them.
I just want to pop around the corner and say hi. I know you can't see me because of the post. Sorry, I've already used up some of my time. Gary Gumley. This question is about balanced economic development. Balanced economic development means finding ways to grow our local economy while keeping White Rock a place where people want to live, work, and celebrate our community. I served as a volunteer on the Economic Development Committee for 2 years, and this led me to found and coordinate the White Rock Winter Lights Festival that is still in operation in the city. It started in 2019. The festival was created with the help of many amazing volunteers, a number of whom are here in the audience tonight, and I thank you for being here. It brought people to the waterfront in the slowest time of the year. It supported restaurants and shops and gave families a reason to celebrate our city by the sea. That's what happens when the city and the community collaborate. Let's return to creating pathways together and build on the promise of Vision 2032, a vibrant.
Hi, my name is Peggy Howard. I just wanted to make sure I introduced myself this time. I think we should take inventory of what we have in our towers right now. There's quite a few towers. So what I'd like to do is really clean up the waterfront. I know I've seen a number of developers that have come and told me that they could redo the waterfront, build 200 new houses, or if you wish, apartments. But I'd like to keep it within the height restrictions that we have down there. So it's supposed to be R3 or 4, depending on the area. I personally live on Maple and Marine, and I would really like to see that whole area cleaned up. I know it's, you know, we are a seaside or a waterfront community, and that's our biggest asset. So we need to work on that. That's what I want to do. Thank you.
You just hold on to it. You can Jazz, actually. He'll be next. So for our next question, we will begin with Jazz Dollywall. So if you could pass that down. The question is going to be around vibrancy and business friendliness. How would you ensure a vibrant, business-friendly environment that balances priorities for all residents?
So yeah, I'm Jazz Dollywall. White Rock's downtown and waterfront is vibrant. I mean, people from across the world come here. People say, hey, you know, where do you want to go? Let's go out for a meal. Let's go to the beach. It's our economic and cultural heartbeat. My plan is to enhance the vibrancy year-round, improving walkability, supporting events and festivals, encouraging diverse businesses to invest in the waterfront's upkeep. By making downtown and waterfront welcoming to both residents and visitors, we can strengthen our local tourism, support small businesses, and maintain White Rock's reputation as a beautiful place to live. I've heard from a lot of people in the community, we can all do our part to help clean it. Just like business owners can help clean it up, we can make it invitable and accessible for everyone. Thank you.
Okay, do you want me to say I'm Tracy Ellis again? Okay, I'm Tracy Ellis. Okay, the downtown waterfront. This one, I don't have enough time to say the things that I want to do with the downtown waterfront. I'm so passionate about bringing fresh energy and creative ideas to the White Rocks economy down there. Many of you remember the old trolley bus. Those were incredible times. It connected people to the beach, supported local businesses, and built community. That's the kind of innovation that we need again. Let's support events like the Taste of White Rock, fill the restaurant seats in the slow season, launch holiday celebrations earlier in November, maybe a Christmas market, live entertainment, and showcase the shops and artisans with a community show. We've got White Rock players. Okay, we have an amazing city down there, the sea, and we need to clean it up. It needs so much to make it better, and just vote for me.
Second, I've been asked to repeat the question. How would you ensure a vibrant, business-friendly environment that balances priorities for all residents?
Are we on the time? You're not. Oh, got it. I didn't think my mic was on. Okay, so firstly, vibrant businesses required longevity. What we're seeing in White Rock is that new businesses open and then close in a very short time period. As a business owner, this points to, among other things, out-of-control overhead costs. Secondly, White Rock is a wonderful place to live year-round, but it's a place that relies on tourist dollars during the busy summer months. Keeping our city attractive benefits our residents, our visitors, and our businesses. And as a founding member with over a decade on the Business Improvement Association, I've had the chance to speak to many, many business owners. I've owned 2 Marine Drive businesses, and I have firsthand experience of that seasonality. Finding ways to attract residents year-round and keeping the overhead costs are really the key. The city and the BIA need to collaborate and communicate more effectively with existing and new businesses so that they can survive and thrive in the future.
Thank you, Gary Gumley again. I served on the Marine Drive Task Force in 2020 and 2021. Our waterfront is White Rock's greatest asset, but it must also be safe and secure. Right now, the city pays $500,000 a year to the BNSF, just for the right to park our vehicles on the south side of Marine Drive. Just imagine if those payments could be suspended for 10 years. That's $5 million we could use to improve security along the promenade and waterfront and the pier. We should immediately reopen discussions with the BNSF and explore collaborative ways to achieve this, benefiting both the railway and our community. When we worked together on whistle cessation, we had dramatically improved safety along the waterfront. This could be a game changer. Cameras, lighting, and increased patrols would protect the railway, and make sure the waterfront is safer for families and visitors. Working with BNSF is a win-win. Better safety, lower risk, and a stronger waterfront.
Thank you. So, yeah, I'm definitely the waterfront person. I'm Peggy Howard, and I live on Maple and Marine. It matters to me that the beachfront community gets cleaned up. I realize that with the tariffs the way they are, we're not going to be getting any kind of huge development anytime soon anywhere. But we certainly can clean it up, and we can put a better merchandise mix down there. We don't need maybe 7 ice cream shops on the waterfront. Perhaps we need a better diversity, and that's something I'd like to work very hard on. Thank you very much.
Hi, Scott Christensen again. One of the things I've noticed is the city needs to support businesses, not get in their way. So permits, the Fieldstone took 2 or 3 years to get a permit to open their bakery. That's crazy. Why is that not sped up? The Memorial Park, if you remember that, the White Rock Coalition, they spent like 3 years working on that. The parking lot was closed. It was a mess. And when we got into council, I went down there. I'm a data-driven kind of guy, and I took pictures every week. And it was almost no one working there. We need to focus on providing services and not, no one could park down there, right? It was just terrible. So I went down and I met with them, and I got that parking lot opened a week after I talked to them. So we need to be very proactive and support our businesses, and that's how we get vibrancy. Have you seen how many are closed down there right now? There's reasons for it. Thank you very much.
I'm Christine Makasoff. We need to encourage business by making it easy for business. And we need to make sure that we are balancing that with residents' priorities by understanding what residents want. We need a balance of amenities throughout the city that is not just purely tourism-based, and services that are here for our year-round residents. But as Scott mentioned, we need to decrease the red tape. We need to support longevity. We need to include this in a plan, a strategic plan. Thank you very much.
Anthony Manning. Before we can understand what the priorities are, we need to know what they are, and we do that by reaching out to the residents. You don't drive people to an online poll. You don't ask people to come to the community center and participate in a highly curated meeting. You need to listen to the residents and find out, what do we need? What do we have too much of? Sit down, listen, and build trust. Partner with the BIA, the Surrey and White Rock Board of Trade. They're great resources. You know, West Vancouver recently decided that they had too many nail salons and money exchange businesses. So they decided to cap the number and attract businesses that support gathering, entertainment, arts, and culture. Let's sit down and talk with them and find out, how did you do it and how is it working? Thank you.
Hi, I'm Jared Schwartz. White Rock needs an economy that supports both residents and visitors. That means helping small businesses thrive all year round, not just the summer months. So what we can do is by streamlining permits, encouraging pop-up shops and local markets, and invest in walkable business areas that bring life both to Johnston and the pier. Tourism is important, but we need a balance of strong local services economy for residents paired with a vibrant waterfront and arts scene that draws both visitors. My name is Jarrett, and thank you very much.
All right, Adam Smith, Common Sense for White Rock. So I'm a business owner, and I look at some of the challenges in the business environment. The rents are so high. Like the restaurant, someone buys the building, rents it out to somebody, raises the rent. It's so hard to run a business on that type of thing. Like I talked to the lady at Silver Dragon. She points out that the people across the street pay $30,000 a month. She pays $3,000 a month. So it's a totally different business. You got to sell a lot of wontons to cover that $30,000. So as a small business, I think what we've got to do is we've got to figure out how to attract more business, more small business, how to incubate them, how to grow them, how to reach out and teach them how to run a business. Because rather than having them fail each and every year, we have them grow, we have them last, we have them build, we make them stronger. We need to attract tech businesses to our city. Some of the Microsofts, the NECs, like the big companies that come in here and put their people in the buildings, working from home, doing stuff, but paying big salaries.
Greg Smith, the business owners I've talked to around town feel that the regulatory system we're living under is capricious and overbearing. And so that's where I would start, is to look at the reduction of regulation and the introduction of more incentives to improve the situation. We don't even know, in terms of our whole heritage, what kind of place we want to be. If you go to the east coast of Canada and the US and visit those seaside communities, they really know what they're about, and you see it every step of the way down the streets of those little communities. That doesn't exist here, and we really need to find it. About a third of the businesses in White Rock are devoted to the care and feeding of money. That's not bad, but it means that other things are probably not getting the attention they deserve, especially the arts that aren't even recognized as a business entity. Thank you.
I'm Howard Stice. I think the one important thing that I would advocate for was a wider variety of business uses by reviewing applications on a suitability basis, thereby reducing duplication of retail services, dining options, personal services in specific neighborhoods. I heard it from another candidate. I'm full in agreement. I mean, how many barbershops do you need in 2 blocks? You know, it doesn't make sense. Finally, I think the city's got to introduce a commercial vacancy tax. Okay, these abandoned buildings on Marine Drive, it's enough. Nothing's changed in the 25 years I've lived out in South Surrey, White Rock. So we have to take it very seriously. So introduce a tax on vacant commercial properties that grows the city's tax base, reduces the burden on residential taxpayers if we do that.
Chris Stropa, thanks. If we're talking about the beach and businesses, a good friend of mine standing in the back there, he's probably the most acquainted with businesses, the owner of the Ocean Beach Hotel, a dear friend of mine, his family, Tony Veltri. But in regards to businesses and vibrancy and what we would do, my few points that I came with is I would encourage the building of low-rise, medium-density condos and apartments with the bottom 1 or 2 floors being earmarked for businesses. I would also streamline the permitting process and development changes to make sure it is viable to open a business in White Rock. I would develop processes to make sure that the businesses fit the character of the neighborhood while not making businesses jump through massive hoops and years of bureaucracy to get a license or be in business. Thank you.
Matt Todd. I grew up in my parents' shops on Marine Drive, so I feel like small business is baked into my DNA. And now I run my own business out of my home, and I see a lot of other people just like me who struggle with simple things like, where do I park my work van? Because I live in a condo and my van doesn't fit underneath. If you walk around and you look for it, you'll notice there's a lot of us. There's also other things that we could do, and we've talked a lot about Marine Drive. I got a lot to say. I only have 27 more seconds. One of the most uncomfortable things I saw this summer is I was walking my son, I have a 2-year-old son, walking down the beach trying to get him to sleep. It was 11 o'clock at night, and I saw a mother and a young daughter scurrying along the tracks, trying to look for a dark spot to pee in the bushes because the washrooms were locked. I think we can do better.
Hi, I'm Philip Warner, and if we want physical retail services, we need streets that create a welcoming environment. That means adding greenery, seating, good lighting, and space for shared mobility so people feel comfortable visiting and spending time here. We also need City Hall to get out of the way. That means speeding up permitting for leasehold improvements so businesses aren't stuck paying for a lease they can't use. We also need more flexibility in store signage and street signage. One business I talked to last year, they told me they were fighting with the city for over 2 years to put up a simple sandwich board. Red tape like that stops businesses from wanting to open up here.
Susan Baines, as a former business owner and through countless conversations with local entrepreneurs, I have learned how difficult it can be to navigate permits and licensing the process in White Rock. Too many businesses face delays and red tape. This keeps them from wanting to open, remain open, and even opening, all in general. I talked to the business owners at the Night Owl that just opened on East Beach. They almost went bankrupt, waiting to get permits and licensing. This is why our waterfront is struggling and businesses are struggling out there. We need thoughtful leadership, efficient planning, so we can build a vibrant economy that supports the residents and all the businesses alike. I support not just streamlining, but evaluating the current process for permits and licensing and making that better. We also need to clean up the waterfront as well. Thank you so much.
Hi there, I'm Rob Blair, and I believe in a community where small businesses can flourish. As a White Rock City Councilor, I work with our small business community and their tax concerns, along with actively pursuing every opportunity for economic growth. Strategic development will be a priority so we can continue to expand and provide businesses with a solid customer base to keep them strong and sustainable. By fostering a healthy business environment, we can ensure that our city grows in the right direction. Thank you. I'm Rob Blair.
I'm Indra Buttar. So to me, a thriving city is one that welcomes all generations and supports sustainable and local economy. So when we talk about a healthy economy in White Rock, we need to ask ourselves, who are we building this economy for? The answer is everyone. Our seniors, our youth, our families, and our local business owners. We have to create an environment where local businesses feel comfortable approaching City Hall. That means reviewing the red tape and ensuring that permits are easy to obtain. That also means continuing to work closely with the BIA, the Board of Trade, Surrey and White Rock Board of Trade, and community organizations that open the door to new ideas here in White Rock. White Rock is rich in generational diversity, and so let's help build an economy that reflects that. Thank you.
I'm Peter Davey. My vision for improving the downtown and waterfront while keeping the tourism vitality in White Rock to build is through collaboration. I would elevate the arts and culture and heritage, including the voices of the Simiamu Nation. I would cut red tape, speed up permits to strengthen local businesses, especially along the beachfront. I will keep the waterfront parks clean, safe, and accessible. I would work with law enforcement to keep the waterfront parks clean. I would support and expand mixed use of waterfront and implementation of many of the recommendations of the Marine Drive Task Force. I would like to see an expanded RCMP presence in the evening on Marine Drive. Art and culture events would be front and center in White Rock. The Simiamu Nations could play a critical role in this. I would investigate the possibility of funding for initiatives by the Having an Abandoned Building Property Tax. I would partner with police and youth programs to prevent crime. I would enhance nighttime lighting and increase community.
All right. So our next question, we're going to ask Jarrett Schwartz to answer first, and then work our way down and back again. So that question is, White Rock has limited revenue streams and competing priorities. What criteria would you use to decide between funding major capital projects versus core services like roads, recreation, and policing? Jarrett?
Hello, I'm Jarrett Schwartz, and I believe taxpayers deserve to know their money is being spent wisely. I would focus on spending on core services, maintaining roads, upgrading infrastructure, ensuring public safety, and providing affordable recreation. Before approving big-ticket projects, City Council should ask, does this project serve real value? Does it reflect community priorities? Is it sustainable in the long term? White Rock cannot afford prestige projects that drive up taxes without meeting residents' needs. My name is Jarrett Schwartz. Thank you.
Adam Smith. All right, so there's a lot of things that White Rock could do. So rather than just raising taxes, what else could we do with our water? We're one of the only municipalities with water source. I mean, so what can we do with that? There is things that we can do with that. If we could have White Rock bottled water, sell it overseas. It's just an idea, right? But there's other things that we could do to improve. We don't just need to raise the parking rates and have expensive restaurants down the waterfront. There are other ways. So, and just like my colleague said, you have to balance the priorities. Are we saving any money? Is White Rock creating an endowment fund for the future? So you have to balance delivering services, spending projects for the future, but also looking at what are we doing right now with the money that we have and looking forward to the future. So Adam Smith, Common Sense for White Rock. Thank you.
Greg Smith. The first thing that I'd like to see us do is to freeze and even lower the base property tax rate and use special levies to a much greater degree on projects that are clearly, with a clearly observable result, clear accountability, and when we know when it begins and when it ends, and it's transparent that way. But I would put the emphasis on infrastructure. There's a way of assessing the needs of the population we have now, making sure that we build up to the infrastructure that meets the needs of the population we have now, and then expanding in a balanced way between the addition of new housing and new businesses and the infrastructure that supports them. Thank you.
I'm Howard Stice. Yeah, fiscal responsibility is I got a couple of points in this regard. Allocating funding, city funds for in a budget, for example, you've got to understand the level of satisfaction of the residents that the residents have with the core services, and that's going to shape how the budgets are allocated. Okay, got to get the feedback from the taxpayers. And any weaknesses that come out of that survey, we got to focus on those, fix the weaknesses first. Then when it comes to actively pursuing funding from other levels of government, we got to do that for major capital infrastructure projects, as was the case with the recent stormwater project, well, just over $9 million, and that came from the provincial and federal government contributions. It reduces a burden on property taxpayers.
Chris Stropa. One of the main reasons I'm running is that I feel emergency infrastructure in White Rock is insufficient. There are certain roads in White Rock that are prohibited for fire trucks and other emergency services. At the end of the day, these services are essential and cannot be overlooked in the name of growth. I recognize that capital projects do bring jobs and wealth to the area, and I think that White Rock needs them. However, the cost of focusing on them instead of emergency services can be deadly. In terms of criteria I would start with the examining of the capacity of emergency services to access the project during the construction and after completion, especially with the continuation of high-rises and the staffing measures that the fire department and police department currently have. In terms of recreation, I would have to make the same argument. A city is like a person with life services as its organs, emergency services.
Matt Todd. I think what people are most concerned about is getting value for your money. So my focus is not so much on lowering costs, but making sure you're getting good value for those costs. I also remember from my past life on City Council that we were very, very diligent about planning for future infrastructure projects. It's sort of like your contingency or depreciation report in your condo, and how you're required to put a certain amount away to make sure that you don't get shock when your boiler blows or your roof is leaking. The city had a very strong plan 20 years out, and so that was very clear where that money was being saved for and where that money is coming from when we do need to spend it. I think that's incredibly important.
Philip Warner. With a limited tax base due to our geography and lack of industry, we need to run a lean city hall. For example, why is the engineering department driving around in an expensive Ford F-150 Lightning instead of the Ford Maverick like the city of Surrey does at half the cost, but performs similar functions? This is just one example how we must focus on broad cost reductions and a change of culture at City Hall. Thank you.
Susan Baines. With a business background, I understand the importance of making every dollar count. That approach matters more than ever when it comes to public money. Core services like roads, fire protection, recreation, and policing must remain a top priority. For large capital costs, such as the proposed swimming pool, I support community input first, then feasibility studies, then further exploring alternative funding measures. We must have a thorough, thoughtful plan. When I helped deliver the accessibility mat on the pier, I found a solution by tapping into existing budgets and grant programs, not by increasing costs to the residents. That same resourceful mindset and community-focused mindset is something that I bring to the table. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm Rob Blair. Hearing a lot about property taxes right now. Property taxes are essential for maintaining the services we rely on, from our first responders, road repairs, sewer, water upgrades, our library, and so much more. However, I also understand that taxes can be a burden. My commitment is to ensure that our tax rate is fair and balanced with the needs of our growing community. White Rock is evolving, and we need to adapt to changes while being mindful of taxpayers. While I can't promise an exact number, I promise to carefully review every budget and avoid putting unnecessary financial strain on our residents. Thank you. I'm Rob Blair.
I'm Indra Buttar. So I really understand that our resources are limited, but responsible budgeting ensures that each dollar of taxpayer money is spent with due diligence. And to do that, we must start by protecting our basics. That's why I firmly support keeping our restricted reserve funds for our core essentials, things like water, sewage, emergency services, and public safety. But once we've covered those bases, we can and should start thinking about the future. That means making smart investments in things that revitalize White Rock, our community programs, our recreation services, and accessible public spaces that people use every single day. Every investment we make should reflect a long-term benefit for our residents. Thank you.
I'm Peter Davey, and fiscal responsibility and priorities would require collaboration with the council and with the community. The number one criteria would be what and how will the citizens of White Rock benefit from proposed major projects, and how do we proceed with them, as opposed to core services like roads, walkways, recreation, policing, and fire services. We could look at generating income from commercial activities, like renting out city-owned properties and or engaging in development projects with partnerships with the private sector. I would explore any federal and provincial grants that might be available. I would establish a city task force to achieve funding objectives comprised of city staff, community volunteers, and one elected official. Providing focused support on small businesses and local economy is a must. There is a recognized need to ensure growth respects White Rock's unique character rather than turning it into a large urban center. Thank you. I'm Peter Davey.
Jazz Dollywall. So White Rock has a limited revenue, so every dollar counts, and every dollar needs to bring value. I think first and foremost, safety and essential services need to come first. We need better roads, at the very least sidewalks with lighting. Emergency preparedness, policing needs to be addressed as well. We need to focus on long-term value. I think that's quite important, and community impact. Projects that actually improve the quality of life for most residents here. Core services must be prioritized, and large capital projects should only move forward if they're sustainable, widely supported, and deliver clear value. Recreation and community amenities. My son and I go to Generations Park. He loves it. We need to do more of those things, and I know we can, and diversify those kind of projects. And really importantly, environmental resilience needs to be addressed as well.
Tracy Ellis. Well, I feel that we need to tap into every provincial and federal grant that's available, including capital project funding that supports infrastructure upgrades and multi-use facilities. As a tourist destination, White Rock deserves infrastructure that reflects its importance. I believe that we need better street calming measures near the waterfront. Speed bumps would be nice. Possibly community policing during peak seasons and more funding available to provide adequate firefighters and equipment to better serve our growing demand. I am a strong advocate for youth sports and the growing pickleball community. I think it's time that we do replace the aging lacrosse box with a multi-use complex that will promote active lifestyles year-round. Every other community has one, and I think White Rock should too. I believe that that is going to be the cornerstone to keeping people out of the hospital. So let's stay active. I'm Tracy Ellis, and that's it. I got 4 seconds. I could sing a song.
I know you're jealous that we get to stand up. Okay. Like any major decision when choosing priorities, it's necessary to assess the wants against the needs. If the city is in need of a specific project for health and safety reasons or for economic necessity, then the project is likely benefit the majority of residents and visitors and businesses. So that would be a priority. If the project falls into the want category, it can benefit everyone as well. However, the city's limited revenue stream should not be the only source for funding those types of projects. Reaching out to the provincial and federal governments and other donors should be a necessary consideration to get this kind of project off the ground. Like any major decision, the input of proactive citizens and businesses should be gathered and assessed as part of that process. Sharon Grayson, thank you.
Hi, Gary Gumley again. Fiscal responsibility starts with knowing exactly where our money is going. Oversight has been stripped away, and therefore prudent financial planning is virtually non-existent. We need to reinstate Finance, Audit, and Budget Committee. Without it, taxpayers have lost a key tool for monitoring spending and asking tough questions before financial commitments are made for both income and expenditures. Today, the city has almost $200 million in cash in the bank, $140 million more than they had 10 years ago. Annual surpluses have totaled $60 million over the last 3 years, and yet property taxes keep rising at double the rate of inflation. We need transparent criteria that puts basic infrastructure and financial sustainability ahead of flashy projects like a new city hall or community hub.
Hello, Peggy Howard here. In 2012, the RCMP, the fire department, and the ambulance services actually saved my life. So for sure they need all the people they can get. And on top of that, as the city grows, we need to make sure we have enough of those services. And then following that, it's important to have recreation. It's important that we stay fit. It's a community that's aging, and the more we can go to the gym, it would be awesome. But then finally, our roads. We all know how much we get stopped by all the different areas, and I think for me to drive up here from Maple and Marine, there's at least 5 areas that are totally under construction. So something's happening. It's all great. Thank you very much, Peggy Howard.
Hi, Scott Christensen here. I like to think about getting the basics done right first. I know councils and some people love thinking about city hubs and vanity projects like a big city hall. I just don't think we need it. We're a small town. What we should be focusing on is roads and lights and water. It would be nice if our water was a little cleaner, to be honest. I don't personally drink it. That's because of what's in it. Believe it or not. But I think it starts with public consultation. So it's very arrogant of us as a council to think we know the answers. And stickers and voting on surveys, that doesn't cut it. You need public consultation. And when we reviewed the OCP, we spent 3 years talking to the public, engaged with public conversations in rooms like this. That really is important. And during COVID, I talked to them as well about what they needed. You got to talk to people. Do you know it took 3 dogs, years and dozens of,
Christine Makasoff. I think that the important part here is resident input. How do we prioritize? Well, this is your city. We need to prioritize based on the people's needs. But the servicing, like roads, recreation, and policing, are the core needs that should be looked after on a yearly basis, while larger capital projects should be something that we are aiming for in the future when we can get provincial, federal grants, when we can work with other organizations that together will relieve the cost. Thank you.
Anthony Manning. Balancing revenue and priorities. So who here thinks that you are not getting the best value for your tax money? So one way to find out how to get the best value is to request a core review. You bring in an expert, that person goes through, or people go through, and they look at how to improve efficiencies and lower the cost of service delivery to our residents. As my colleague said, we also need to hear from you. What are the things that are most important to you? Maybe we're offering services that you don't really value, and we can eliminate those. We also need to start talking with our surrounding municipalities, specifically Surrey, to see how we can cost share, because their residents use our facilities as much as we use theirs. There could be savings to be had. Thank you.
Okay, thanks everybody. The next question, Gary is going to get us started, and it's around the downtown waterfront. So the question, listen everybody, so you can get ready. What is your plan to enhance White Rock's downtown and waterfront so they remain attractive destinations for residents, visitors, and businesses? Gary, you are first.
Thank you. I'm going to vary away from the question because I think we've answered enough of the questions about the waterfront. I'm going to talk about trust and transparency in governance. Trust in local government starts with respecting residents enough to keep them informed, especially when outside mandates conflict with local priorities. We should be consulting residents. That's why I believe we need more transparency, not less. This council moved meetings to the afternoon and eliminated written Q&A statements and submissions. We should be consulting residents early, sharing clear information, and bringing major decisions to the community before they're locked in. That includes finance and audit and the Vision 2032 initiative that I'm so diligently trying to pursue. We need, when people are informed and invited to participate, even hard decisions can be made with public trust. That's how we turn conflict into collaboration and build a city that reflects the wishes of its citizens. Thank you for letting me.
So the question was, which I had not actually asked, but like great politicians, you all talked about the things you want to talk about. So the question is, what is your plan to enhance White Rock's downtown and waterfront so they remain attractive destinations for residents, visitors, and businesses? Thank you.
Hi, it's Peggy Howard, and I love the waterfront, so I don't mind talking about it one bit. It's in my backyard. So I'd love to see it improved. Right now, I'd like to see it revitalized. You know, even if we got some volunteers together to just clean it up, that would be good, because I have community pride and graffiti breeds company, so we need to clean it up. Thank you very much.
Hi, Scott Christensen again. For the waterfront, I really think we need to focus on accessibility first, shuttles and TransLink buses. Employees, my daughter worked down there, and at midnight she had to she's 17, how does she get back up here? We need some shuttles and bus services. And I talked to TransLink, they're willing to actually have a West Coast Express on the train if we get the people down there. We also have to look at the waterfront, shop fronts, and help the businesses improve it so it's consistent. And clean up the trash. Every long weekend, the trash is just overflowing. And I talked to businesses while I was on council, and I listened to them. And one of the things they said is, why don't we have picnic tables? And where's the marina? And why can't we rent kayaks and boats and draw people in there? It could be a really wonderful experience. But we're neglecting our waterfront, and I think we really need to invest in that and consult with the businesses and consult with people. Thank you.
Christine Makasoff. The waterfront struggles in the winter months, which leads to failed businesses, which is not good for anybody. I think we must look at eliminating or reducing the pay parking down on Marine Drive during certain winter months. We need to help those businesses survive. There are many vacancies down there. A vacancy tax is one solution. But some of the buildings are really quite old that house those vacant storefronts. So talking with owners and discovering, what is it impeding them from developing or renovating would be helpful. Open dialogue with business owners is paramount. I think Uptown is headed in the right direction. We have lovely wide sidewalks, but the parking south. Never
mind. The views from White Rock are stunning, but our commercial districts are not so much. There's 3 things that I would do to make the environment more vibrant. First, implement facade improvement grants that can be issued through the BIA. These work in other municipalities, and it provides small amounts of money for businesses to improve their storefronts. Second, I would reintroduce a resolution that I made at UBCM during my first term on council to implement a commercial vacancy tax. And lastly, I would request RCMP and bylaws to be deployed more visibly along the waterfront in the summer months, and also implement a traffic control program for Canada Day and Seafest. These can be done quickly and cheaply. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Jared Schwartz, and the waterfront is White Rock's heart. But we need to make it more welcoming and accessible. That means improving parking, transit connections. I like bringing back the trolley that connects people from parking lots. I don't know if you went to see the fireworks during Canada Day, but the whole thing was completely full, and people were just stopping on the street to watch those fireworks. It was nuts. So keeping the area clean, safe, supporting businesses that serve both residents and tourists. We should invest in arts, culture, and events that keep the waterfront lively all year round, not just the summer, right? And at the same time, we should revitalize Johnson Road as a walkable, attractive commercial area with spread the economic activity both from the beach and to the front. Thank you very much. My name is Jared Schwartz.
Adam Smith, the name you know and trust for White Rock. So what we want to talk about, so a lot of people come up to me and say, we have a pretty good waterfront, we got pretty good streets, it was nice out last night walking down the street, but there's people sleeping in the streets. You know that, right? Have you stepped over one? Have you seen one? Like I've seen 4 or 5 just this week or this weekend alone, right? Where there's someone there and they've passed out on drugs. And what do the concerned citizens stop and phone somebody and they try to talk through it? I mean, we need to do something about this. We need to have citizen patrols. We need volunteers. We need to engage our NGOs like Sources, Brella. Any society that's here in the city, we need to get these people. We need obviously more activity from the police, but that's a big concern. We need to look at that sort of thing, and I understand there's also a rat problem. We need to actually face these ugly things and deal with them one at a time. Adam Smith, Common Sense for White Rock.
Greg Smith. Ladysmith is a very pretty city. It happened because movie company made a movie there and painted and tarted up all the storefronts along that whole strip. But they only did the first floor because that's the only part that was in the movie. But what it did was inspire the residents of Ladysmith to complete the job. So the first thing I'd look for us to do is to create our vision. Our vision needs to happen three ways. From all of us expressing what we think the vision should be, to the heritage that we know exists, to asking the visitors what would make it attractive for them, and what does it mean to them to come here. And then I'd use incentives of all kinds to make that vision a reality. Thank you.
I'm Howard Stice. One of the things that I came up with, to deal with this sort of the decayed commercial storefronts, Marine Drive, and on Johnson, is to, besides the commercial vacancy tax, which I think is something we got to do. We got to do it quick, otherwise this stuff's just going to look the same 10 years from now. What I would, though, recommend as another tactic is to require these absentee landlords, or maybe they're local landlords, I don't know, but to cover the facade or the frontage of those properties on Marine Drive. I drove by, like, my old favorite restaurant was Giraffe. What a nightmare. There got to be a requirement to put public art across the facade of properties that have been vacant for over 6 months. Talk to the art department in White Rock.
Chris Strobup. Marine Drive is pretty vibrant spot, special spot in White Rock. I've been coming down there for 42 years. My grandparents lived just on Columbia. My grandfather served here from 83 to 91 as a Minister of Tourism with the BC Social Credit Party. And he was pretty active in making White Rock pretty vibrant. Yeah, it's different now. A lot of changes down there. Businesses are struggling. Businesses can barely stay afloat, and it's challenging for a lot of businesses to find a way to stay afloat. And it needs help drastically. White Rock's waterfront and downtown is facing a serious crisis. This is not a unique problem to White Rock, but multi-generational small businesses in towns all over BC are closing due to massive increases in operating costs.
Matt Todd. I also believe that there's some amazing opportunities for public art on the waterfront especially, but also uptown, that I'd really love to explore. And I have some great ideas for what we can do, especially on the waterfront. But this is a by-election for 1 year term. I'd rather talk about what I can achieve in 1 year, and what I'd like to see is maintenance of what we've already got. Those bathrooms down there reek. I'm especially aware, because I have a toddler son who likes to crawl around and roll around in the grass, of how dirty and sticky the garbage cans are. The streaks that run down the sidewalk from the rainwater off just the dirt and the grime and the worn out patches where there used to be grass and now it's just dirt. That's our low hanging.
Philip Warner. Chilliwack's District 1881 used to be the talk of the town, and they don't even have a waterfront. We do. Why aren't we popular like they are? Well, maybe it's time we try something different and drastic. Let's put a one-way street in. We can expand the sidewalk, more greenery, more walking space, expanded patios. Everybody loves to be outside. Thank you very much.
Susan Baines. The waterfront is our identity. There's three main areas that I feel need improving. Businesses, we've already talked about, so I'll quickly go over that. The red tape that stops them from opening and wanting to open, cleaning up of vacant spaces, and implementing year-round options. The beach access for everyone, for all. Beach wheelchairs have been with the city since 2019. I have not seen one down there except for the one that I own. The ramps that go down to the beach are all blocked except for one, and they're not even to proper grade. We need to get those fixed. Safety. The railway crossings actually have issues, and I've been working on this behind the scenes with Transport Safety Canada. There are concerns with them. And patrols on the promenade. We need to have boots on the ground, get community policing there to make it feel safe. Thank you.
Thank you. Once again, Rob Blair. As a resident of Uptown, I do believe in our downtown core. It's thriving, exciting concepts, energetic entrepreneurs. The future looks really bright for Uptown. It's also my belief that we can revitalize and support the businesses along Marine Drive while also drawing more tourism to our area. How do we achieve this? Council needs to develop a sustainable plan for Marine Drive. As our businesses face the current challenging economic situation, we can help support these businesses by building our community sensibly, bringing in more residents, which will help ensure there's a steady stream of people available to support local shops and restaurants. By balancing growth with thoughtful development, we can help our waterfront thrive for years to come. Rob Blair, thank you.
I'm Indra Buttar. Our city's downtown and waterfront should really reflect our spirit, our culture, and our vision for the future. And not just in the summer, it should be all year long. And Marine Drive is iconic, but it's facing real challenges. So our vacant storefronts, our aging buildings, and our inconsistent visitor experience. We need to work closely with property owners, the BIA, and the Surrey White Rock Board of Trade to really revitalize that space. That means supporting our small businesses to stay open year-round. We are blessed to live in this beautiful city by the sea, and we should all come together as a community to preserve that small town charm. Thank you.
Well, I, for one, haven't got a problem with the waterfront. If you want to go down there and have ice cream or fish and chips, you're going to find lots of it. I support mixed use for the waterfront. I support the idea of having a one-way traffic through there. I support softening traffic by getting the police down there, pulling over these cars that you sit there and watch them go back and forth and back and forth. It causes mayhem down there. If the police would pull them over and check their driver's license, they might find that they're into criminal activity of some kind. Or maybe they just wouldn't want to come down there. Something needs to be done about that. It's very important. It's such a beautiful place. I have my special sitting place down there where I go with my wife, and I'll tell you, I wouldn't give it up for anything. I just know that we need to do something different. It's very important to read the task force on the Marine Drive task force, the recommendations they made in there. They're worth looking at. If you haven't read it, please go online and read it. I had nothing to do with it, but I'll tell you to do it because it's worth saving. It's a gem, really is. Thank you. I'm Peter Davey.
Hi, Jazz Dollywall. So White Rock is our economic and cultural heartbeat. To be honest, it's a crown jewel of this region in BC. It's up there with Stanley Park. It's up there with North Shore, in my opinion. We need to enhance the year-round vibrancy, basically improving walkability, investing in the waterfront's upkeep. Just as my colleague said here, we have 1 year. We got to think short-term and long-term, and we can do that by both, by asking the RCMP, talking to the RCMP, let's get some boots on the ground, let's make them visible. Another thing, I had an idea that we have a transit hub just right next to the highway. Why don't we put in a shuttle, have people park there and come down to the beach, easing up traffic, bring more people in, get them back right away. And then supporting local business owners. You know, everybody takes pride in their business. Everybody wants to make sure that their front of their business is inviting, right? Working with businesses and have.
Okay, I'm Tracy Ellis, and this one I don't need my notes for. I live down there. I'm there every day. I love the waterfront. I don't love the way it is right now. I believe that there's so many things that we can do to clean it up that just needs little things. We can do this in a year. We can do these things. The garbage vegetables, oh my God, those are nasty. Change them out. There's other little communities that have beautiful 3-section ones that are labeled, one for the dog, one for recycling. Pizza boxes would actually fit in them. They don't fit in those. I'm down there every day. I'm picking up garbage. I'm putting it in the garbage cans because the lid doesn't go in. I have to take the lid off and put it in. We need to clean up that waterfront. We need policing. We need community involvement. We need eyes on the community. I have a dog, and I'm grateful that I get to walk him there in the morning. I should be able to walk him there at night, too, because I'm your eyes on the beach. I'm looking out with my dog, making sure that it's safe down there.
Thank you so much for asking this question. It's one of my passions and one of the reasons why I decided that I would step up. Working to revitalize the waterfront is the goal, and making it welcome and safe for all. So I'm just going to rattle off a whole bunch of stuff that I think needs to be done. We need to improve the lighting. We need to safety and policing, the walkability, parking options, better ones, transit, better transit, address the issue of vacant, neglected buildings. We can't in our community charter, but we really need to find a way to do that. Garbage, yoy, weeding, oh, let's not talk about the weeding down there. Support the diverse local businesses. We need a business needs assessment to try and help encourage people to thrive, the businesses, to restore the waterfront's community spirit again, and actually use our beach. Let's put a fish store down there, please. I've always wanted one. Anyways, I think we can do better, and I appreciate that there's lots of great ideas. Let's do it.
Okay, everybody, we are getting down to the last question. And just a friendly reminder that we are a friendly audience, and any kind of booing or disrespectful behavior will not be tolerated. Okay? We're here to listen. I have good ears. I'm a mom. I heard it. Okay? I also just want to take a quick moment to thank all of you that sent in your questions that allowed us to compile them and come up with these broad-based questions that hopefully get all of your questions answered. But of course, the candidates will be here afterwards for you to connect with. So let's go on to the last question, and Howard is going to get us started. Beyond housing and development, which we know are hot topics, what do you see as the top 3 service improvements White Rock needs most urgently? I'll read it again. Beyond housing and development, what do you see as the top 3 service improvements White Rock needs most urgently? Howard, we begin with you.
Hello? Perfect. Don't forget to vote Howard Stice, okay? That's all I want to tell you right off the get-go. No, listen, there's 3 that I got here, and I think I probably would have more, but anyways. First one, water quality. We got to work towards a permanent hookup to the GVRD freshwater supply to accommodate growing demand and removing the risk of future saltwater intrusion to these wells, or whether, perhaps they'll run dry or even, heaven forbid, get contaminated. If that happens, we're hooped. So I think we've really got to connect up with the GVRD freshwater supply. The quality of water would be much improved. Secondly, bylaw enforcement on sidewalk safety. No more scooters, those electric scooters ripping down the road. Okay, got to get rid of them. Got to get the bylaw guys in there. Noise bylaw, main arterials, and thirdly, street beautifications.
Thank you. Chris Stropa here. 3 services that need to be improved. My first and foremost would be the fire service for staffing measures. White Rock Fire is continually increasing their staffing measures, or call measures, volume. and they're severely understaffed at the current staffing rate, running on a 4-man, one-engine company. Responding to this city is unacceptable at this point. The city's probably doubled in the last 15 years in population, and the staffing measures are well under adequate for what they're capable of doing. The second would be White Rock needs to maintain and expand seniors services and make those more available for them, and White Rock needs to improve what we spoke about earlier. It's highly needed is the downtown waterfront and the services down there. Thanks.
Matt Todd. I think we could do a better job at maintaining our public parks and public services like our public washrooms. I think they could be cleaner. I think they could be cleaned more often. And I think we could keep the blackberry bushes off our sidewalks more frequently. I know they grow fast, but I think we could keep up on that a little bit better. I also think there's some great opportunities for community art projects. I did one 20 years ago on the beach on the Ash Street staircase. Still really proud of it. It's holding up good, and I'd love to see more of that. I think that's a great way to build community connectedness. Another great idea that I'd like to see us do more of is create opportunities for neighborhoods to have neighborhood parties. There's no reason why we can't close off a side street for the evening and let people have an outdoor movie, get to know their neighbors, connect with their neighbors. I think that would do great things for our community connectedness in White Rock.
It's getting late, so I'm just going to focus on one issue that my kids, it really bothers them. Enforcement of the little things around our city. We constantly see cars driving around without front license plates, front tinted windows. When people constantly see each other breaking the law, we're less likely to follow it ourselves. We need to increase enforcement of the little things. Thank you very much. And I appreciate one of your 2 votes. I'm Philip Warner.
Susan Baines. With a passion for health and fitness and a commitment to accessibility, I believe life starts with services that are safe, inclusive, and well-maintained. The 3 areas that I feel are most urgent are public safety, including what I spoke about before, promenade patrols and upgraded rail crossings. Accessibility, ensuring all residents can access public spaces and services. And recreation, supporting programs that promote physical and mental wellness for all ages and abilities. These are areas where I've contributed through past initiatives and where I'm currently working to make a difference. If elected, I'll continue to champion services that support well-being for all residents at every stage of life.
Hi, I'm Rob Blair. I'm committed to being a strong voice for White Rock on key issues, even those outside of municipal responsibilities. Number 1, I will advocate for Peace Arch Hospital, ensuring that our ER stays open and the hospital is fully staffed. Number 2, community safety is another priority. I have heard numerous concerns about feeling safe from our residents. We need to support our first responders and push for changes to federal laws, along with better mental health care. Number 3, drug addiction. Open public drug use and the safe injection site. It's a serious problem. I will work with Fraser Health to come up with a plan. I'm ready to stand up and work hard for White Rock. Rob Blair.
I'm Indra Buttar. So for me, a healthy, safe, and connected community isn't just a goal of mine, it's our collective responsibility. As a registered nurse, I know how critical timely access to care is, which is why I'll continue to advocate for 24/7 healthcare access here in White Rock. My priorities are clear. We want healthcare access, senior well-being, and public safety and accessibility. But wellness goes beyond hospitals. It includes mental health supports, community clinics, and inclusive recreation for all ages. We need to invest in public spaces that promote connection. And make everyday life better, cleaner, and more accessible. And these are essentials for a city where people feel safe, supported, and not left behind. Thank you.
I'm Peter Davey, and I need to follow 3 urgent service improvements. We need to upgrade and enhance public infrastructure, a more robust community hub, and I do support that community hub. I think it's a good idea for business. I think it's a good idea for the community. We need to encourage businesses and local economy. These are really important. The businesses drive our community. These areas address critical needs for livability, economic stability, and the preservation of White Rock's unique character amidst growth. Upgraded and enhanced public infrastructure to manage flooding and improve water quality in Simiamo Bay is a necessity. The improvement of the infrastructure, a #1 priority. Pedestrian transit enhancements to improve pedestrian safety and transit accessibility, including sidewalk construction, enhanced crosswalks, and wider bus stops, will improve accessibility for all residences. Planning is underway for a new community hub. I support it. The goal is to deliver better services and create lasting.
Jazz Dollywall. Beyond housing and development, the most urgent services improvements I see is definitely public safety. We need to have RCMP visible. We need to address the homeless crisis. The mental health care initiatives need to be supported as well. And secondly, I think transportation and mobility. I mean, we've spoken about it all evening. Improving road conditions, crosswalk safety, just having simple lights and crosswalks and connections to transit is quite important. The environmental resilience as well, from protecting our shoreline to green spaces, ensuring White Rock remains healthy and livable for generations, because getting outside is being healthy, moving is healthy. So I think those are the key service improvements that I'd be working on. Thank you.
Okay, Tracy Ellis. 3 key things that I think that are very important in my, if I was to be on council, is definitely the crisis with the mental health and with the drug addiction problem that we have in our city. I would like to see more advocate programs that we can get people on the ground so that they can help them and find a way to get assistance to them. Also, the sidewalks and the sidewalks access, especially around where the seniors are. I know my mom is at Oceana Park, and they can't even go for a walk because the sidewalks are so uneven, and it's hazardous for them. The other element that I am very passionate about is, again, our waterfront. I would really love to see more addressed to that area as well. So that's what I need, and also the fire and the policing. Sorry.
Okay. First, investing in infrastructure with the goal of creating strong foundations. These are on my campaign platform, actually. Not just relying on White Rock income streams, securing provincial and federal funding, working to ensure smart, inclusive city planning, ensuring our roads, water systems, and public spaces are maintained to keep pace with our growth, and also modernizing the recreational facilities for all ages. Second, expanding mental health care and healthcare services throughout our community, because we have a tourist destination, which is a giant hospital, and lots of people are coming in and they're supporting our businesses, but we can do more. Expanding, improving access to mental health services, focusing on staff shortages, service gaps, providing more timely care for our seniors, and advocating for people living in the streets. The third one's the waterfront. I've already spoken about it, and we need to do more in all these places. Thank you.
Thank you, Tracy. What we need, in my considered opinion, is we need city councillors who know the system and understand required financial oversight. I have spent 10 years doing my homework in White Rock and South Surrey. In the 1-year term of this election, it is imperative to elect someone who will not be intimidated by the processes and protocols of municipal governance. It takes strength of character and depth of experience to cut through the smother blather. With due respect to my competitors in this race, I am the best candidate to do that. I respectfully request your support at the ballot box on September 27th. I have been there and done that. Now it's time to do the work to secure the independence, financial stamina, security, and safety of the amazing place our home, White Rock. Thank you very much for coming.
Hello, it's Peggy again. Guess what? Number 1 is revitalize the waterfront, addressing unkept buildings. 2, address some of the pedestrian traffic concerns, like the one on Maple and Marine. For example, the fire department, when they come down to the beach, they come down Maple and turn left or right on Marine at that point. And there's only a 2-way stop. So a 3-way stop would be awesome. And finally, ensuring that our life safety, police, and fire department have enough staff. That's it. Thank you very much. And you can vote for me as soon as September 17th.
Hi, Scott Christensen again. One of the things I want to do is, we want to have healthy people. It costs too much in quality of life and in our taxes if people are going to the emergency room. We got to help recreation and create better opportunities. We own these buildings like the ice rink and the pickleball, but are we giving them what they need? We need to have more public consultation and make sure that happens. I think we do need to put in the ice rink. It's our building, or the ice plant. It's our building. I think we need to help pickleball be 12 months a year. And also, I think the other thing is the permitting process. We spend so much spending years of our engineers' time approving something that should take weeks in other cities. We need to work on that. And also, we need to help the homeless. So I'm a director on the board of White Rock Players Club, and the homeless are there all the time. It's heartbreaking. We really need to do some permanent solutions and help them out. Thank you very much.
Hello, Christine Makasoff. I think we have a lot of issues to address in the city, and one of the things that we can do to improve is to establish more committees through the City Hall. There used to be several committees where councillors would head these committees. I think that we would receive greater input from residents if there was places where they could contribute. Another area that I would like to see, and it's been discussed, is policing, safety, security. We have to look at possible programs, policing programs to support. And then our aging infrastructure. We have a lot of older neighborhoods, drainage, sewer, water, all needs to be updated. But thank you for your time.
Anthony Manning. The top 3 service improvements that White Rock urgently needs are actually outside of the city's wheelhouse. I think they're healthcare, education, and transportation. But the things that we can address, lowering the cost of governance. Taxes are going up faster than inflation. We have a really large seniors community here. They're on fixed incomes, and at some point they're not going to be able to keep up. Some of them already don't. We need to look at quick fixes for the waterfront. Many of them have been mentioned here tonight. But the waterfront is what brings people to White Rock year-round. On a sunny day in the winter, people will be down there. Let's get better trash cans down there. Let's clean up the businesses. And lastly, let's look at improving what we've got. A lot of the buildings are aging out, the civic ones, specifically the curling rink. They need a new ice machine, and we can do that.
Hello, I'm Jarrett Schwartz for one last time today. And White Rock has done a great job bringing in people into White Rock. People want to move in here. It's a great place to come. But I want to focus on making it better to live here for the people that are here. So my three priorities for White Rock is fix and maintain our roads and infrastructure, expand affordable recreation, support public safety and community well-being. So infrastructure, be things like the roads, a lot of our walkways to the beachfronts, those stairs really need repairs and they're on their way out. For recreation, we need good places to go with our families, to exercise. We have an aging population. Having good recreation helps them stay healthy and stay out of the hospital. And just good fun, really, to have sports. I would like you to hope for you to earn your vote, and hope. My name again is Jarrett Schwartz. Thank you.
Adam Smith, the name you know for White Rock and Trust. So it's very similar. Public safety, I want to talk a little bit about that. There's just so many ladies have come up to me and said it's not safe on the beach, on the pier at night. It's not safe on Thrift Avenue at night. So that is something. We need to get more activity doing that. If people aren't afraid, they're afraid to walk around. Infrastructure maintenance, obvious things like prioritizing roads. Some roads don't have sidewalks or lights, so we need to look at those types of things. Improving the parks and the pathways, like Helen Father's Ways. When you walk up the hill, you step straight out into the traffic, right? There's nowhere to stop, right? So there needs to be a thought about where can you stop that you're not in the middle of the road when you come up the hill or down the hill. Also, let's fix those permits. Like those permit problem, that's terrible for business. Anyways, Adam Smith, the name you know. I'll be here at the end to answer any questions. Thank you.
I put this question to my 101-year-old mother, and she said more chocolate and cookies. But what a lot of the rest of the people who live in this lovely city have told me is they'd like to see a priority put on safe routes to schools so that kids can walk to school instead of having to be driven. And that just means identifying some of those routes and improving them with sidewalks, traffic calming, whatever else is necessary. Sure, public safety is important, but what's the important part of that is what do people perceive about their safety? And I think we need to spend some time exploring and addressing that, because not all of what we might do is apparent to ease those perceptions. Definitely fire services, 4 people on a shift right now, it has to go to 6. And fire has touched my world 3 times, and I know how important.
Candidates, thank you so much. That's all the time we have. You've done a great job of presenting your ideas for the audience's consideration, for the voters' consideration. Thank you to the White Rock BIA for co-hosting this evening, and to Peer Law and Mediation, and the Fraser Valley Real Estate Board, and Thrifty's Foods for your sponsorship. Yeah, let's give them a round of applause. Thank you. Without sponsors and partners, we would not be able to host events for our members and our many guests, such as many of you that are here today. And don't forget to vote Saturday, September 27th. Advanced voting polls are open Wednesday, September 17th, and Monday, September 22nd. And this concludes the White Rock by-election candidates event. And our candidates will stay and speak to you in person if you wish. Please have a great evening. Thank you.